So welcome, my name is Roger, and I'm gonna go over Facebook ads that actually make money. So let's get started. So a couple of quick stats. My name is Roger. I'm the owner of a business called Founder Marketing here in Houston. I've personally generated hundreds of B2B leads for my own business in just the last 30 days, and I'll show that here in just a second. And I also help my client Connie from Game Day Men's Health ideate, film, and create their best performing ad nationwide for their entire franchise. So the entire Game Day Men's Health, this is the best ad that they have. And as you can see right here, I'll even show you and give you an in-depth explanation as to why it worked and show you that ad. This is the video that we made together yesterday where she kind of goes over that. But I'll just preview that here. If you guys want to check this out, I'll leave the link to this gamma. I'll leave the link to this presentation in the description. And this is also a video that I posted on my personal Instagram, which is roger.rodulfo, which is my last name. Um, but here is just some more proof. I spent last month a little bit less than $1,900 for over 100 B2B leads here in Houston. As you can see right there, I'm getting $18.38 per lead. For my client Ramiz, we were getting him $5 cost per lead for his wholesale business. So he was looking to attract potential sellers for their land, residential, or commercial properties, and he was getting $5 cost per submission for those. So let's go over now the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to ads. The number one thing I see is that you're trying to sell a product to a stranger and you have the wrong offer. You need to be very aware that when you're running ads to people who don't know you. It's like going on a date with someone on a first date and then trying to get them to marry you on the first date. It's just not a good idea, and 99.999% of the time that will not work. Um, so the very important thing with this is that you need to make it a cold friendly offer. And I'll kind of go over what that means specifically and how we can do that a little bit more. But essentially what that means is you need to have an offer for your business that's so good that people who don't know who you are just stop and say, wow, that's actually really cool. I want to find out more. Or holy shit, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Or even better, I want to learn more. And that needs to be an offer that's friendly to someone who does not know you. So the next mistake I see is really just generic messaging. If you've ever seen ads on Instagram, B2B ads on Instagram, a lot of them start with attention business owners. Or if you run XYZ kind of business, if you're a construction business, and it's extremely generic and overused now. People are automatically just swiping away from those ads. You need to be very specific in terms of who you're calling out and the offer you're making within your ad. Now, the next thing I see is that you're expecting an instant return on your investment, or you're losing money upfront from your ads. So if you're spending 5,000 on ads and you're making 3,000, that's not a really great model, especially if you don't need to do that. And finally, the biggest mistake you can make is just random testing, throwing stuff at the wall, and just seeing what sticks. This is not the way to run ads. You don't have to start from zero when it comes to ads. So, what is the solution? The solution is to create offers for ads that work and don't force your main product as your offer. Um, But when it comes to ads, you really want to focus on the product or service that gets people in the door. Um, and specifically strangers, people who don't know who you are or who your business is and what you guys do. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to focus on being profitable from day one. You do this by making sure that your cost per acquisition, which basically means cost to acquire a new buyer, is less than what your offer is. So if you have some sort of B2B offer or some sort of high ticket offer that's, let's say, $5,000 and it's costing you $1,000 to acquire a customer, you're profitable. But if you have an offer that is say $500 and your cost to acquire one customer is 1,000, even though the lifetime value of that customer might be worth more than 1,000, it's still not really necessary. And the ways you can fix that are by adding some sort of setup, by adding some add-ons. You can really fix this once you're on the call. And that's why having a great offer is super important in the first place, because getting the person in a meeting or in a call is going to give you a lot more options in terms of what you can sell to them. And finally, what you need to be doing is you need to have a proven process. Just stop trying to guess what's going to work on ads. There are processes and systems that have worked for hundreds of different types of businesses. I'm sure you've already heard of a VSL funnel, which means video sales letter funnel, which is a landing page with a headline, sub-headline, video, etc. This has worked for hundreds of industry and continues to work to this day. Another type of funnel is a DM funnel, which is what I personally run for my ads. This is a super frictionless way that people can see your ad and contact you via Instagram, and then you can go ahead and continue the exact same process, which is booking an appointment, booking a meeting, and then getting on a call to figure out what your prospect needs and sell them that. And the type of funnel you run is obviously going to depend on a ton of different factors, like what does your team look like? Do you have people that are doing appointment setting and sales for you? What are your offers? Is this more B2B or is this to consumer? Is this something that requires a ton of education? Is this something that requires a ton of trust or not? Do you need to have a really frictionless strategy like DM ads where people can instantly message you? Or do you have the luxury of qualifying and vetting people a lot harder to make sure that you're getting lower volume but higher intent leads? This is going to depend on a ton of things. Now, going into offers that make strangers buy. And then in the end, like I mentioned before, I'll show you exactly the ad that we created for Game Day Men's Health that illustrates this process perfectly. So the first thing you want to focus on is solving one specific problem. I help with marketing, or we do construction is extremely basic. Every construction company does construction. If you offer something specific as your cold offer to strangers, that is what will get people in the door. Now, this is just the strategy to get people in the door. Once people know you, once people have experienced working with you, they like working with you, they've had a great experience, you can sell them whatever you want. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you use simple language that's easy to understand. And when I say easy to understand, this is easy for your prospect to understand what exactly you guys are doing. So use words like, this is a plug and play thing, this is done for you, it's a 30-day setup, whatever that looks like for you and for your industry. It's got to be super easy to understand what exactly you guys are going to do for the prospect. Now, the next thing you want to include in this offer is proof that it works. Results from real clients, testimonials, screenshots, case studies, and they can even be your own story as well. That's also a case study. And finally, what we were going over previously, to make your ads profitable, you need to charge the right price. You need to charge enough money to make your ads immediately profitable. This is how we write ads that actually work. For the title or for the beginning, you need to make sure that they stop scrolling. This is the most important thing about ads. We don't want to waste ad spend. So we need to put a lot of effort into the beginning of the video to make sure that people are not scrolling away. The next thing is messaging. I went over this slightly in the past slides, but what messaging really is different angles, different pain points that you can tackle, that your leads or your customers come to you with their problems. Like let's say, for example, the men's clinic that I was referring to before. We found out that they get tired in the evening and that they don't feel like how they used to when they were younger in terms of energy levels. And so understanding those pain points, which as a business owner you already do, we can use those pain points and that messaging and put that into our ads so that the right people are thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, like this person knows exactly what I'm going through. And here's a simple ad structure that I personally use for myself and for my clients. So within the ads, how do we actually find qualified leads? There's three main ways. Number one is to use a lookalike audience. So if you have a list of your best customers, you can actually import that list into Facebook and just tell Facebook, hey, these are my customers. Find people just like them. They already have millions of data points on all of these people so that so you don't even have to so you don't even have to be a wizard anymore to target the right people using Facebook ads. Number two is interest targeting. So as a business owner, you'll know the types of interests that your ideal clients or prospects have. What on Facebook, what we can do is we can target people with those interests to make sure that they're seeing your ad. And finally, we let Facebook decide. This is called open targeting. Open targeting is when we literally tell Facebook, hey, this is my ad. Find the best people that respond to this. This has been working phenomenally well for myself and for everyone and for almost everyone that I work with, because over the past decades, really, Facebook's advertising platform has become extremely well accustomed, and internally they've got algorithms and so many data points on all of us that it's just easy for them to find who is actually interested in our ad. And here's a quick hack. You want to test all three of these strategies at once. So how do we actually go about testing all these strategies? Basically, what we want to do is we want a system where Facebook is automatically putting money towards what's working. Now, on the campaign level, so the way Facebook ads are structured, to put it a little simply, is you have separate campaigns. Underneath that, you have ad sets, and underneath those ad sets, you have ads. So under one campaign, you can have multiple ad sets, and under each ad set, you can have multiple ads. Under each ad set, you can change the targeting, and then under each ad, you can change the actual video or image. The way we want to set this up to test is we want to have one campaign that's running that's running a budget from $100 to $300 per day. We're going to use all three. We're going to have that under that one campaign. We're going to have three different ad sets testing out these different audience types that we went over in the past slide. And then within each ad set, we're going to have 3 to 5 different videos, and we're just going to let Facebook optimize. This works because internally, Facebook knows us better than we know ourselves and our interests, and so they just let their internal AI and systems sort of handle that on their own. So what should you expect when it comes to running ads? The first month is breaking even. The goal is to not lose any money, and if we're profitable, great. The focus for this month, the first 30 days, is to figure out exactly what works. This is going to be a lot of testing and a lot of learning. The second month is when we're focused on being profitable. We're consistently having a positive return on our investment, and we're scaling the winners. We're turning off the ads that didn't work, and then we're allocating more budget to the ads that did work. Normally, you can see around a 2 to 3x return on your ad spend. So if you spend 5,000, you can normally see anywhere from 10 to 15,000 return on that. The third month is scaling. We're trying to predictably turn the knob so that we can make more and more money. The focus is to expand and optimize all of these ads, and a normal expectation for how these ads perform is a 3 to 4 times return on ad spend. Now, as promised, this is the best performing Men's Health Clinic ad, and I'll go ahead and show this to you right now. And we'll play it. Great. Now, why did this work? Number one is it had a clear and quick call out. Men over 40. It also in the beginning had a clear visual hook. So if we go to the first second of this video, you can see here it says men over 40, and we're not even in the first second yet. So this does is it targets exactly who we're trying to get watching our videos in the very first second. This is also a clear visual that even people that don't have their audio on their phone can understand. Now, we intentionally made the script of this video super easy to understand. We didn't use any complicated words or concepts or any medical terms. So as you can see, what she said, what the actual script said is, if you don't get regular checkups, things start breaking down. The next part of this video was she goes over a personal story. Now, because she is the owner of this franchise, it's interesting because she's a woman that owns a men's health clinic. And so we wanted to talk about why exactly she did that. And we did all this within a 10-second span. Just quickly going over her personal story of why she decided to open this men's health clinic. The next thing that we had is a great offer. Free 15-minute testosterone test. As far as I'm concerned, as of today, no other men's health clinic is offering something like this. But when you have free testosterone tests, this is a super, super easy in for a men's health clinic to start getting people into the door. Now, the final two things here is we had a clear call to action at the end. Click the link below to schedule your free 15-minute testosterone test. This is super clear. You understand exactly what you're going to get when you click that link. And finally, this entire ad was less than 30 seconds long. When we're making video ads, I've tested a lot of things, but what's been working for myself and for my clients is making ads less than 30 to 40 seconds long. So making your ads clear, concise, and straight to the point has been working phenomenally well and will continue to work. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something from this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe. And if you're interested in talking to me, working with me about how we can make ads for your business, click the link below as well. It'll be the first link where you'll find my Instagram. You can go ahead and message me the word grow, and then I'll get back to you with some more info on how we can make this happen for you. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoy.